Welcome to the Just Because Diaries, where real life meets random chats and plenty of mom moments, all while reclaiming joy in the seemingly mundane. I'm Celeste, a mom, but also a whole-ass person navigating the balance of motherhood while rediscovering the joy in doing things just for myself. From the chaos of parenting to the little moments that make life fun, nothing is off limits. So grab a cup of coffee or something stronger and let's get into it. Today, we're talking all about your holiday traditions, and later we'll dive into your thoughts on Claws Crochet for our Just Because book club. I hope everyone had an amazing Thanksgiving. We had a really wonderful day, and I think we somehow managed to make the best Martha turkey that we have ever made. And it was also the biggest turkey that we've ever made, so I was really, really nervous that it was going to completely dry out like the Griswold's Christmas turkey. But thankfully it didn't, and it was super delicious, so I was really grateful for that. And for any of you wondering, yes, the fire alarm absolutely did go off. It went off on the very first time that we opened our oven. The teamwork was there. Everyone was in their positions, but the timing was a little bit off. And so the fire alarm went off, but it also would not be Thanksgiving without it. But now that Thanksgiving is over, we can move ahead to the rest of the holidays and the end of the year. By now, all of you know how much I love this time of year. I love having traditions that we carry on each year. I love finding new ones for us to try. And last episode, I had asked all of you to reach out with your favorite holiday traditions, and you did not disappoint. Thank you so much for all of your emails and your DMs on Instagram. I loved reading every single one, but I only pulled a few to share with you all today. So without further ado, here we go. Our first one comes from Michelle. She writes, I am a Hallmark Christmas movie fanatic and have my own little tradition of sitting down to watch their countdown to Christmas movies every year. But as a family, we also do a little movie countdown of our own with all of the classics. We do it every Friday night, and we start right after Halloween so we can pack in as many of our favorites as possible. And we always end with Miracle on 34th Street on Christmas Eve. The movies are always paired with popcorn and hot chocolate, extra marshmallows for the kids, and a couple generous pours of wine for the hubby and me. It's become a favorite of ours, and our kids look forward to it every week. Well, that is the best. And hello, fellow Hallmark Christmas movie lover. I love the sweet simplicity of this tradition because it's something that is so easy to accomplish with so little planning and prep work. And Michelle didn't mention how old her kids are, but I assume that a tradition like this would be especially nice for families with older kids who are looking to be out and about more often because it's a chance to bring the entire family together for at least an hour or two every single week. We watch a lot of Christmas movies in our house, and we don't do a countdown per se, but we do go through the full rotation of the classics, and it is so nice to just spend that time together and to also share movies from mine and David's childhood with Miles and Keely. Like those stop motion movies, I feel like they aren't on TV as often anymore. I feel like they're harder to find nowadays, but those will forever be favorites of mine. And the sound of Rudolph's nose lighting up will live in my brain forever. And if you know those movies, then I bet you heard that sound in your head right now. But also, I love all of Tim Allen's Santa Claus movies, Home Alone, Charlie Brown, Christmas Vacation, and of course, A Muppet Christmas Carol, because that is my all-time favorite Christmas movie because it is literal perfection. Except that, well, okay, so tiny tangent. As much as I love A Muppet Christmas Carol, I also have beef with it because at some point in time, some decision maker with way too much power decided that my favorite song in the entire movie should be cut. It's gone, it's deleted, and it's erased from the main version, and it's ridiculous. The song is called When Love Is Gone, and it is the moment when young Scrooge decides to choose work over love, and his love is literally gone. She leaves. She walks away. Like, this is literally his origin story. This is literally the moment that makes him Scrooge because the last bit of love in his life has left him. But apparently, someone thought that this wasn't necessary. So, okay, whatever. But the thing that makes me actually lose my mind is that they kept the reprise at the end. So they cut the original song, but they still have everyone singing When Love Is Found in the finale of the movie, even though we never saw the love be gone. And it just makes me crazy. However, last year, I discovered that on Disney Plus, if you go to the extras tab, you can choose to watch the full-length version, and that restores the missing song and scene. And so now that is the only version that I will watch. However, if someone accidentally plays the new, quote-unquote, new version, then I just spiral. The second that they skip the song and they cut the scene to her just like walking away, I go into my rant. And poor David has heard this rant so many times over the years, but it infuriates me. Oh, and go listen to Fall Out Boy's cover of It Feels Like Christmas, because it is fire. If you don't know Muppet Christmas Carol, It Feels Like Christmas is in the movie. And Fall Out Boy did a cover of it, and I don't know why they did a cover of it or why they decided to drop it back in October, but it's amazing. And Kermit even makes an appearance in it, and it's just wonderful, and I refuse to question greatness. So do yourself a favor, go listen to it on Spotify, and thank me later. But anyway, back to traditions. Our next tradition comes from Stephanie. Stephanie wrote in to share that every time her family travels to or visits a new place, they buy a Christmas ornament. And her favorite holiday tradition is putting all of those ornaments up on the tree and reliving those vacations and visits. So full disclosure, I actually know Stephanie personally. She is one of my very best friends, but I just love this tradition. I love it so much that I actually adopted it myself. I love it because it is just such a smart and easy tradition, because no matter where you go around the world, every single gift shop has Christmas ornaments. And I don't have nearly as many as Stephanie does, but I also love the nostalgia of hanging each one up every year and then reliving the memories and being able to share with my kids, because some of the ornaments I have were from before they even existed in the world. So it's a lot of fun. And then every single ornament on your tree has meaning to it. So that's definitely a tradition that I personally love. So thank you, Stephanie, for introducing it to me. Now, some of you wrote in with traditions that focus on reflection and gratitude and meaning, and I loved all of those so much. Beth wrote in that each year they have a gratitude ornament where each family member writes one thing they're grateful for and one thing they hope will happen in the coming year. And then all of the slips of paper get put into one clear Christmas bauble, and then that gets opened next year when they decorate their tree. So I love that so much. And then Lauren has a tradition along similar lines, but for the end of the year. On New Year's Eve, her family lights a candle, and then they share one thing they're proud of, one thing they've learned, and one thing they hope for the next year. Then they count down to midnight and blow out the candle. But she also notes that they do not stay up until the real midnight. They do a New York countdown at 9 p.m. because they live on the West Coast, and boy, do I hear that. So yeah, I just thought that was a really fun tradition to do at the end of the year. It kind of sets the new year off on the right foot. And decorating cookies was definitely a popular tradition that many of you carry with you. And some of you get very competitive about your cookies. You turn them into full-blown competitions. But there were a couple of cookie tradition emails that I thought were super heartwarming. So the first one comes from Taylor, who writes, "My personal favorite holiday tradition is our Bake and Donate Day. Each year, the kids and I make a bunch of different cookies, and then we give them out to our neighbors, to the kids' teachers, crossing guards, delivery drivers, the mail person, our local librarians, whoever we can think of in our neighborhood. I love it because I love to bake, and I love baking with my kids. Plus, it teaches them kindness, and it feels good to take some time to do something for others amid all of the chaos that I feel around this time of year. My kids love it because they also enjoy baking, but they mostly love getting to pass out the little bags of cookies." I thought this was such a nice idea, and I may actually adopt this one too, because I also love to bake, but there are only so many cookies that my family can eat. So I love the idea of being able to bake and do a donate day, and I wanted to share Taylor's email in case any of you might feel inspired to do the same. This next email was so sweet, and I just had to share it. It comes from Julia, and she says, When my niece and nephew were little, my parents watched them Monday through Friday, and these kiddos became obsessed with what we initially called Owe's sugar cookies. Owe was a nickname for my grandma. Pretty soon, I was making at least 2 batches a week as this cookie became their favorite snack, and the cookies became lovingly known as Iya cookies. Iya is my nickname that all of my nieces and nephews call me. And on Fridays, when they were not coming over on the weekend, I made sure they had a batch to take home with them. Well, my nephew was turning 20 and he requested Iya cookies for dessert. I haven't made them in at least 8 to 10 years. And when I started making them and smelling the dough and sampling the dough and took a bite of a cookie fresh out of the oven, I got emotional and a little teary. Those babies are now 20 and 17, all grown up, but I still keep them little in my heart. If you have kids you have loved for that long, you know they don't always remember everything about their childhood like we do. We are the keeper of so many of their memories, but they both said they remembered the cookies and they tasted exactly the same. Oof, that one was such a sweet email filled with so much love. I literally teared up reading it. I'm tearing up right now and I'm trying to keep it together. And I saved this one for last for a reason, because she's exactly right. We are the keeper of so many memories for our little ones in our lives, and it's impossible that they'll remember every little thing we do and say to them, not just during the holidays, but in life in general. But we remember all of those tiny little moments. And as much as this time of year is about them, I mean, it's mostly about them, but it's also a little bit about us, all of us memory makers. And these traditions and these routines that we repeat year after year aren't just for our kids. They're also for us too. And some of these traditions will stick with our kids forever, just like some traditions from our childhoods have stuck with us. And maybe one day our kids will pass down the traditions we create for them too. Reading through all of your traditions, one thing stood out, and that was simplicity. None of the messages I received had complicated, over-the-top, expensive traditions. Not that there's anything wrong with any of those, but these traditions were all things that happen in and around the home. And that really stood out to me because I know that I personally can get really caught up in trying to make this season as magical as possible for my kids. And it is so easy for me to get lost in running around finding gifts and planning and organizing all the activities and all of the things. But what our kids love most isn't the big crazy outings, even though those are super fun. It's the small stuff. It's cuddling up on the couch, watching Christmas movies, or when we all pile into our car with Santa hats and hot cocoa and drive around looking at Christmas lights. It's in decorating cookies with way too much frosting and way too many sprinkles. That is where the real magic is. So whatever your traditions look like this time of year, I really hope that you remember that they really are leaving a lasting impression on your family and your loved ones. And every single time that you repeat one of these traditions, you are gifting your loved ones with another memory. And you're also giving yourself another memory. And that right there is what this season is all about, Charlie Brown. All right, it is time for our Just Because Book Club. Our first pick was Claws Crochet by Lauren Connolly, and I sent out a little questionnaire to get your thoughts, and here is what we have found. Overall, as a group, we gave the book a 4.1 star rating. I personally gave it 4 stars. I really liked it, but I just wanted more drama. One 5-star reviewer said, "This book was exactly what I want in a cozy paranormal romance. It was warm, whimsical, and full of heart." Another reader said, "Cute concept, but I wanted more complexity." And one person even gave it 2 stars because, quote, "I need mess, chaos, and explosive conflict. This book was too soft for me." Fair enough. Our main female character, Zoe, earned an average rating of 4.3 stars. I loved her right from the opening biker bar scene with her crochet bag, and she was completely unfazed by all of the big scary men around her. I loved that about her. And I also really loved how she spoke about her depression. I thought that Lauren Connolly did a really great job of describing how Zoe felt and just really just normalizing depression in general. Plus, I really loved Zoe's little feminist moment on the construction site. I thought that was pure gold. But one reader said Zoe was comforting, like the human version of a handmade blanket. Good analogy for this crochet-related book. And another said she felt a little too Hallmark movie main character and wanted more depth. In their words, quote, more personality, less politeness. So a solid mix of opinions on our girl Zoe. As for our main male character, Warner, he came in with an average of 3.8 stars. I liked him, but I didn't love the immediate attraction thing. I wanted a little bit more buildup. And okay, to be honest with you, I did not love the whole he's never had a BJ thing. I'm sorry, but when I read that, I just was super annoyed because it felt really unbelievable for a man who was introduced at the start of the book as being like a ladies' man right from the jump. But I mean, I guess it's not impossible, but I don't know. It just bugged me. Anyway, my favorite comment was from this reader who said, he's protective but soft, like a golden retriever joined a motorcycle club. And some of you wanted a bit more emotional complexity from him and more edge to him beyond his drive to fiercely protect, and I totally get that. Some favorite moments from the book included Zoe getting to know her grandmother after her passing and finding unexpected parallels to her own life. Yes, loved that. Another one was Warner going full alpha, or, quote, feral, as one reader put it, when Zoe was in danger. The cozy cabin atmosphere with no cell service or Wi-Fi, just peace in the mountains. And lastly, Zoe awkwardly asking Juliet to be friends, which, yes, I 100% loved that moment because it was just so incredibly relatable, because making friends as an adult is super weird and awkward. So yes, I agree. I loved that part too. What we didn't love. Well, pretty much everyone agreed that the sabotage plot felt rushed and low stakes. The buildup was there with the weird things happening to Zoe and the whole werewolves hold grudges thing, but the payoff just wasn't really there. And in my opinion, when Zoe discovered Warner was a werewolf, that felt more intense to me than the actual climax of the book. As for predictions for book 2, most of you said that the ending was fine and wrapped up Warner and Zoe's story well enough. And many of you are hoping that book 2 focuses on Juliet, which same, and maybe Roderick, since that was hinted at. A few of you also mentioned hoping for a bit more world building and pack development. Personally, I'm hoping that Rebecca isn't going to be the big villain through line through the whole series, because I want something bigger. I would love to see a rival pack or some kind of drama with another kind of fantastical species. I just want something a bit more juicy than my mom has a grudge against your mom and now I'm trying to kill you kind of thing. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to say how much I loved hearing all of your different perspectives. Some of you wanted more spice, some wanted more plot, some wanted more chaos, and honestly, that's what makes book clubs fun, because we all read the same story, but we never read it the same way. And yeah, so I just thank you everyone for participating and for sending in your responses. We will pick up the Just Because Book Club again in the new year, so in the meantime, feel free to send me your recommendations for our next read. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Just Because Diaries. Thank you to everyone who sent in holiday traditions or book club responses. I love hearing from all of you, so please feel free to shoot me an email anytime about anything at all to thejustbecauseddiaries@gmail.com, and you may just be mentioned in a future episode. And finally, it would mean the world to me if you could please take a few seconds to rate and review my podcast by hitting that 5-star button and leaving me a little love note in the review section. And please share this episode with a friend who you think might enjoy being part of this budding community. Thank you so much again for listening. Enjoy all of your holiday traditions, and definitely let me know if you decide to try any of the ones I mentioned today. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.